Hi everybody, my name is Matteo Mazzoni and I'm here today with Matthew Jones, Tom Marzec-Manser and Yann Andreassen to talk about Energy Foresight. What's Energy Foresight is the new analytical service that provides companies with an integrated view across all main energy commodities traded in Europe, so gas, power and carbon. Thanks to a suite of models that are linked to each other, we, as ICIS, are able to capture all the interdependencies between the different components of the markets and understand what's moving what at all point in time. This provides customers with more than just a price forecast, but a full understanding of all main factors that play across different markets. But let's hear from the guys working on the field. Why do we think, guys, this is important for our customers? Tom, could you start?
Why is it important? I mean, at the moment, gas is obviously being extremely volatile and it's having an impact on other commodities. But we really need to understand, when looking at it from a gas perspective, what the power market is doing and how one is driving the other. So we have a weather model, which is influencing or providing data for both our power models and our gas models, which is the same weather forecast. And then we can understand how much gas is going into power, and that is the same view that the power model has of how much power is being generated from gas-fired thermal. So it all works together. It's all a very integrated view.
So gas goes into power, and what is the link between power, gas, and carbon, Matt?
Sure. If you think of a topic like fuel switch, that's definitely crossing all of those three commodities at any given time, determining whether or not coal or gas is in the mix. That question's really dependent on what is the gas price, what is the power price, and what is the carbon price. And we've seen the links between all three of those working so far this year. So trying to get that understanding of the connections between the three and what is driving each of the other commodities at any given time is essential for understanding any of those three commodities and how they work, so that traders can make money or buyers can reduce their costs at any given time.
And I think that with carbon breaching the €100 mark already a couple of times this year, this is something that is having quite an impact across all markets. Yeah, would you agree on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we've definitely seen in the past few years with new regulation being put in place in the carbon market is that it has then definitely fixed the issue, for example, of oversupply, and what resulted was a significantly stronger price signal that we had seen in the past. So from let's say that the carbon markets have slowly become more on par, I would say, with other commodity markets, and therefore the importance of looking, let's say, at those various commodity markets in tandem has definitely increased. But I would say that in general also, what's really critical here is that if you look at the carbon market, in terms of the agents, they all share those various commodity markets in terms of inputs, for example, and outputs for some. So it's really, the point for me is really that it's impossible today to truly understand what's going on in the carbon markets without having a integrated view of all the other commodity markets. So that's why it's so important to have that integrated view through Energy Foresight.
And I think probably it's valuable if I can dig into that. And Tom, can you help me understand a bit more what type of analysis that we ran where we did find something interesting or something unusual?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we do these model runs. Obviously, the model is designed for traders, so it runs daily. But we do these analyses. We look at specific topic areas. And I think maybe one of the more interesting ones is, gas consumption from the industrial sector has been very, very crucial. I think the power market, we've seen how very quickly that has changed in terms of price response from when gas was so expensive last year. But understanding demand reductions in industrials was particularly difficult for the market to understand, and we built on we took a deep dive into the refinery sector, looking at gas consumption from refineries, and actually looking at the fuel switch there between fuel oil and gas and other fuels. And in fact, that in itself was a joint effort, a cross commodity piece, because we actually built on the work that the carbon team had already done in terms of looking at the changes in emissions from refineries because of this type of fuel switch going on.
It started from carbon, then we looked into the, let's say, gas demand destruction. Obviously, we looked at the one specific sector, which is the refining one, which connects different markets. And what was the starting point there, Yann? What was, the driver that we were trying to understand a bit more, and then connected all the different markets?
Well, I think when you talk to market participants, what they want to try to understand is how does one market affect the other? If you look at carbon in the past, it was a lot, and you also in recent years, obviously, it was really about looking at policy, for example. But obviously, with the market having been fixed in some way with the various reform we have seen and new ambition now up to 2030, we are a little bit, I would say, moving in terms of landscape and the way you're looking at this market. So what market participants require right now is really a deep understanding and, again, an integrated view on what's happening in the industrial sector, for example, in the oil and gas. Is it the same trend as what is happening in the other sectors in terms of increasing emission or decreasing emissions? And also then what's happening for example, in the power sectors. So Tom was talking about earlier on the gas side, for example. So you might have industrial demand destruction, but you might have on the other side, on the power side, maybe a different dynamic in terms of fuel switch and gas usage, etc. So it's very important for carbon market participants to be able to have that overview on all commodities markets now.
You mentioned the policy aspect. It's something that we looked into that in the previous episode with Matt when we looked into the electricity market reform. So if I connect the dots, we're talking about a cross-commodity view which looks at what's moving what at all time, trying to integrate the policy aspect of it, and the idea is to have both traders and companies that they buy different fuels or the different energy inputs to trade better and minimize and optimize their cost. I will be at eWorld, so please come and visit us and to know more about Energy Foresight and possibly be part of our series. Thanks a lot, guys. It's been very informative. And if you want to know more about Energy Foresight, please visit our website or simply scan the QR code that you see on screen. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.